Greetings from our bracketology war room in an undisclosed location in Northern California. It's Monday, March 14th, 2011. It's 24 hours since these 2011 NCAA men's brackets have been dropped. Had a full day to look at the matchups, fill out some brackets, do a little bit of research, and just wanted to give everybody who hasn't filled out their brackets a little bit of food for thought before they go in and enter their brackets into whatever pool they're involved in. A quick plug for Will and John's annual pool. Will Froelich and John Host have done a great job every year of making the pool better and better. They put together a great website. It's real well organized and simple in terms of payment and everything. This is their 10th year, so congratulations to them. We're going to get started up in the eastern part of the bracket. That'll be on your upper left-hand side, where Ohio State has gotten the #1 overall seed in the whole entire tournament. Vegas has tagged them at 7-2 odds for winning the whole entire thing. Like Ohio State a lot, just because of the way that bracket plays out. I think that they have favorable matchups. They're a really strong team. They struggle sometimes when the game gets slow. Saw Penn State give them a couple of issues in that conference title game, and earlier in the year I watched them play Northwestern, and Northwestern just embarrassed them, and how they were able to slow down possessions and really limit possessions and value the clock and really slow things down. I don't see any team on that side of the bracket that's going to hassle them. Maybe West Virginia, but I'm not totally convinced that West Virginia is going to get past Kentucky. So up in the East, I'd say my only potential upset alert would be Washington, who I think will cruise in the first round and then potentially meet up with North Carolina. That'd be a great game. Both teams really like to run. That'd be really exciting, and I think that if that game breaks out into a transition game, anything can happen, and it would definitely play into Washington's favor. So now we're going to drop down. We're in the West now. This is the lower left-hand side of the bracket. I have Duke coming out in every single bracket I filled out. I just don't think they can be touched. Too much size up front, great guard play, great leadership, and they have shooters. And the leadership comes from not just the coaching staff, but from Kyle Singler and Nolan Smith, who won the national championship last year. Do have a potential upset. I like Missouri over Cincy. I was talking to my friend Ryan Drinks about that. We both agree that Missouri's a lock, but for absolutely no particular reason. A lot of people like Oakland over Texas. Don't like that one so much. Texas has really good guards in Corey Joseph and Jordan Hamilton, and I think they're just going to be too much to handle. They're way too talented. Connecticut's a really trendy pick. Kemba Walker had a great performance in the Big East tournament. A lot of people really like them after seeing what he was capable of. It's really hard to extend that type of effort. I get worried about them. I call this my hero syndrome, where I think that it's easier to game plan around one player if you're a real good coach. And I almost think that those teams, like the BYUs and Washingtons out there, when you've got a player like Jimmer or Kemba, your team's in better shape when that one player has an outstanding game and everybody else, may not play great, as opposed to if everybody else is solid and that star player doesn't do so well. And I think that can hurt you in the tournament. I really like that talented, athletic, deep SDSU team over UConn, but SDSU's had a great year. They're going to run into Duke, unfortunately, and that's going to be the end of that. We're going to just shoot up to the Southwest now. Kansas has the #1 seed up there, really deep. I think we haven't really seen this team play together the whole year, and that's something to really take into consideration. This team finished 32-2, and there was suspensions the whole entire year, starting with Josh Selby's eligibility issues at the beginning of the year, and then the legal issues with Tyshawn Taylor and Mario Little prevented this team from really playing together. They were able to, win the Big 12, win the Big 12 tournament as a group, playing together, and I just like them. They really remind me of that 2008 Kansas team that won the title. Really athletic up front. Twins are great, and really good backcourt, really good athletes, and I like their path. A lot of people like Richmond over Vandy. I don't necessarily see that. Vandy got shocked by Murray State last year, if you remember that at the buzzer, and I think that Vanderbilt comes in with a chip on their shoulder. They're not going to get upset this year. Don't see it happening. The upset I see up there in the Southwest is the USC play-in game, which may say playing on a lot of those brackets. They play against Virginia Commonwealth. VCU is also a good team. Peaked a little bit too early. Really like USC. They've come on strong late. Getting their transfer eligible, they have a kid named Gio Fountain who transferred in from Fordham. He's only been able to play the last 2 months. And then you've got a great front line, Alex Stevenson and Nikola Vucevic up front. Georgetown's lost 4 in a row. Chris Wright is coming back. Maybe. They don't know how healthy he is. Had a broken hand or a broken wrist. Really hard to imagine that he can completely come in at 100%. Don't trust Georgetown in this tournament. Like Purdue, Purdue's going to be tough. They've had some really good wins this year. Beat Ohio State. They're always sharp in the tournament. Really tough defensive team. Really athletic and big up front. E'Twaun Moore is one of the best players in the Big Ten. Notre Dame is, a lot of people are high on Notre Dame. The Irish had a great end of the season. Congratulations to them. Ben Hansbrough had an exceptional senior year. A lot better than I thought he would play. My big issue with the Irish is that they shoot too many threes. They really struggle offensively when they're not hitting those threes. I think they rely on it too much and it'll come back to bite them. I think that they can get a couple of wins early on, but getting more than 3 or 4 wins is really tough when you rely on the 3 that much. All of their losses this year during the regular season were when they were scoring in the 50s, and in those games they're not hitting their 3-pointers, and that's something to keep an eye on and take into consideration. They can really shoot the 3 and it'll keep them in games, but it can also take them right out of it. Pitt, don't really like them on a personal level. I also think that they really struggled at the end of the year. They finished out the regular season 3-4 in their last 7 games, but you gotta like their side of the bracket. I see them getting up to the Elite 8 real quick. I don't like anybody else on that side. Butler, Old Dominion, Kansas State, Wisconsin. I don't think anybody can stop Pitt. BYU, again, with that hero syndrome. We'll see how far Jimmer can take them. But, who knows? With the loss of Davies in the front court, I just don't see it. St. John's, love them. Getting a little bit nervous now. DJ Kennedy's out. Shout out to Justin Brownlee, who's a great forward on that team, who's a California Community College product. He's had a great year and is projected to go in the 2nd round of the draft. Florida's in the bottom of that bracket with the number 2 seed. A lot of people have them in the Final Four in the Elite 8. I don't have a problem with that. Last thing, keep an eye on UCLA. Great front court. Josh Smith, Reeves Nelson, Tyler Honeycutt, who's been inconsistent. He is a projected top 10 pick in the draft. That means he's talented. I took a flyer on them in a bracket and threw them in the Final Four.